And when they would clean my teeth, I was a gum bleeder. And so this was the first visit I had that my gums didn't bleed. And the lady that cleans my teeth said, whatever you're doing with that health has changed your gums. So she said, keep it up. So, after 2 years, I'm still getting those non-scale victories coming in. And I was so excited because I was flossing, I was doing my rinsing and brushing and everything. And it came down to my health. And I was like, yeah.
Awesome, Lisa. I think that's a new non-scale victory. That's a new win right there. I don't think I've ever heard before. Congratulations. All righty. Who else has some wins or some gratitude? Oops, sorry. I just accidentally muted you. Go ahead and come off, Jeffrey.
I just want to share gratitude for you, Brad, for you, your leadership, your team. I can't wait to see who's coming on to share. Like, I was sitting back going, gosh, it's November. There's no boot camps probably coming, and I don't know what we're going to do, and this is here. And I know that there's now 175 people pouring in that are so grateful that you get up early and pour into all of us. I just want to say thank you.
Oh, thanks, my man. We're grateful for you too. We're grateful to be together this morning, so I love it. And also, just as we'll get started here in another minute here, go ahead and make sure you're on Gallup speaker view so you can see the speakers here. All right, let's do one more.
I just want to say, my daughter always likes me to dress up for Halloween with her. And this year I actually felt good trying on that costume. And I didn't feel, self-conscious, like, what am I going to look like in this costume? Like, it actually fit and I felt confident. So I just wanted to say that because that was a big thing for me.
Oh, Melissa, I love that win. That is the win. I'm going to mute you real quick because I can hear your children that you got to dress up with in the background. That is a great win to start off with today because that's what we're giving people here. And that's what we're going to kick off with. I'll have to slip you some money later for that amazing setup. Because we are giving people their full life back. We are giving them no more living just a partial life. And we are learning how to do this well. I think we all want to give ourselves more of that kind of win and give other people that win. So real quick here, it's 7:02 officially. Everyone's pouring in. Guys, grab a sip of coffee. Welcome. We are officially kicking off. My name's Brad Miller. I'm an integrated presidential director, but for all of you new coaches, all that means is that my wife and I have partnered with a lot of great people to change a lot of lives, and that's what we're here to show you as well. I've got my co-host today with me, Dawn Chow. Are you there?
I'm here, Brad. Hey, good morning, everyone.
All righty. As we kick off here, we're going to have a slow roll today because we're going to set up the next 5 weeks ahead. Grab your notepad. Get fully present, grab an extra sip of coffee. We're going to get rolling here. But as we kick off, drop it in the chat. Where are you tuning in from? And what, one word or less, what's your biggest win this last season? Let's kind of shake off some of the morning things. Some of you guys are on the East Coast. You guys are awake. Some of us are like barely awake on the West Coast. Consistency and fitness. I love it. Alert, leaning in. Oh, there's so many wins, Dawn. I love watching this. And they're so different too.
Oh, I love it. And they're coming in from all across the country. And I even think we have some people here on from Asia too, like sharing wins from across the world. That's pretty incredible.
All righty. All right. Well, let's officially pop in. All right, guys. So here is what to expect for these 5 weeks. So if you're actually, and I have another question too, as we pop in here. If you are a newer coach in the last 6 months, or this is your first coffee and consistency, can you drop me a 1 in the chat? Oh my gosh. Dawn, look at that.
Holy smokes. Congratulations, you guys. Look at all the newer coaches diving in, jumping in. And this may be one of your first experiences with our community, especially in this really open, laid back forum where we can see each other, right, Brad? This is a little different than we've done in the past few months. So that is so cool. Welcome, you guys, and congrats for being here.
All right, guys, so let's dive in here. So today is all about getting set up really well. Hopefully you grabbed everything that we put in the pre-setup. And if not, don't worry about it. We're going to be going over it today. But today we're going to slow roll a little bit in because we are going to get set up for the next 5 weeks. everything. That's why we call it coffee and consistency, because everything you will break through in, the lives you change, what we do comes through consistency. We call it coffee because we get up in the morning. You're going to probably need some and maybe a little bit of a fat burn to make it happen. But that's what we get up, we get after it, we want to enjoy the best of life. So what I want to share with you is what I'm excited about for this season, especially for all of you new people here, is that we do this training a little bit. All trainings are amazing, but we do this one a little bit different. We're going to do it 5 weeks. Everything builds on each other. So we're going to talk about getting set up well. Then we're going to talk about sharing. We're going to talk about how we move that into conversations. And we're going to cover all the things that make the greatest difference. And so who this is for, it's for everyone that wants to grow and change lives. We hope to help you really rest well during this season, to coach through the holidays really well from this season, but also more importantly, because everything stacks on each other, is to set up great success over the next season. So what we want to encourage you to do today is to dream big a little bit about what's possible over the next few months, because we're gonna have a few people share here in a little bit, but most people overestimate what's possible when getting started. But through consistency and focusing on growing ourselves and helping others, we can underestimate what's possible over time. And the consistency is the magic in this game. And here's what I know from doing this, and I'm just sharing with you, plus we have some surprises to share at the end of the call today, is most people give up before they see the fruits of all their labor. It doesn't mean that they don't make advancements. It's that they have done all the work and they just stop being consistent. Consistency is the magic here. So with that being said, this call is for everyone that wants to learn and grow. And that's why this community is powerful. By the way, heads up, because you guys have been on other trainings before, we can actually see you. So you don't have to shower. We don't care. It's about getting up and getting after it. Just make sure you're not changing or showering while we're doing this. We actually had one of those situations one time, but no one saw it. They just were later. So just a heads up for everyone. Use the chat a lot, and we're going to have lots of feedback. And we're also going to have Q&As afterwards. So this is a little bit different, but we like to get hands on. And the other thing about this is, you guys, is everyone, no matter what, does the exact same things in this business. There's no shortcut. I asked Dawn Chow before this call, hey, Dawn, do you have the stuff before the call? Of course, I'm traveling right now. I take all of this stuff with me. I'm an integrated presidential director, and I still do the same basics. So that's the cool thing. And the trainers that train run the highest frontline volume, which means they're really good at transforming lives. They're normal, just like you. Probably if you're one of those new people here, they were probably like at one point, I don't know if I can do this. Actually, for a fact, I know that they didn't think so. Just because I told Dr. A that I wouldn't be able to help one person. But if you do the steps, especially in this season, I love the holidays because there are so many people that don't want to go into the holidays unhealthier than they already are. There's some people that you will plant seeds with during this season that will sprout in the season ahead, and you will also partner with people that want to just on a different level through the holiday season. So again, who this is for, new coaches, we're going to be going over this, tune in, hear all the things, but your number one goal is to stay connected with your coach. Just talk about sharing your story out loud and connect with your first few people and get to senior coach. That's your job as a new coach. For all this main training will be focused for people that are kind of at a senior coach, manager, associate director, and moving to executive director level. And so that's what this is really going to help with. You guys got a great start. We're going to start kind of putting the pieces together, help you keep making it simpler and easy, because if you do these steps, more is not more. It actually gets simpler. It gets easier. You get more proficient at it. And actually you can start helping more people because of the catapult effect in less time. And then what happens is you help so many people that you might have to add a little bit more time back in. But a growing business can technically happen in about 8 to 12 hours a week. And what we're going to show you today is how to put that in. And then for everyone else that's executive director and above, your goal is to get really good at this and be able to duplicate this, because everyone just duplicates. I'm a duplication of my parents, et cetera, et cetera. My parents are my coach. So Dawn, that's what we're going to cover today. And I'm so excited that people want to learn it, because every time we do this, we have phenomenal months. But because consistency and honing the skills are the difference, we have greater months in the months to come. And we're going to come up on the new year, and we want to be so present with people. And we earn the amount of people that have built trust with us through our consistency. And that's just going to bleed into the new year. And we're going to rescue people from dieting, and we're going to put them in our community to help them truly change lives. So is everyone in with that? Can I get a 10 in the chat if you guys are all in for that this season. All right, Dawn, go for it. Anything else you want to add?
I just love that, Brad. And I love that you set us up so well, you guys, for what we are really going to dive into today. We're going to set up the cornerstones of what we're going to cover the next 5 weeks. And we're also going to dive into the tools and everything you need. So, Brad, I just think you set us up so beautifully. And I'm excited to even hear some stories for some people who've actually gone through this process. And for all of you who are sitting there thinking, is this going to work for me? Do I have the skills? Can I do this? I just want you to know both Brad and I, not that long ago, were sitting right where you are on the other side of a computer screen, listening to people who we thought had all kinds of magic up their sleeves, but they didn't. They're just real people like you and I. They dove in, they had huge hearts, they earned trust, they cared for people well, and they built beautiful lives based around this mission. And so that's what we really want to show you, is how to work well and live well. And this is an awesome season to do that. So Brad, I just am really, really excited. And again, really grateful for you also for pouring in the time. And this is going to be great, you guys.
All right, I'm excited. Let's jump into it. I can tell people already. You guys are hungry. Congratulations for being here. You guys are my people. 300 of us on right now. First, we're going to kick it off with just some stories, because I just want to hear what's possible as you dive in and be consistent. So I want to share, have Danae and DJ Mark share first. So Danae and DJ, could you share a little bit about here? Because you were in this starting spot at one point. And what has your life changed into through consistency?
Well, good morning. Yes, we were in that exact spot. And it was fun to hear Dawn talk about how we've all been in that place. And that definitely was us at the beginning of our coaching journey. I actually said no to coaching for 4 long years. And I got to that place where I actually reached out to my mom, who is also my business mentor, and said, hey, I kind of need to fill a little bit of a financial gap. Maybe I could be your assistant for a couple hours a week and kind of help out in that way. Because our life got turned upside down. And so we went from living in California to now living in Idaho. And I decided to step into coaching all at that same time. And it was an incredible, crazy season. And I'll never forget. So I became a coach in between the Christmas and New Year's, which is crazy. And did my first health assessment with my computer precariously stacked up on top of moving boxes, just praying that the chaos that was around me didn't come through on the Zoom as I was learning, and felt so ill-equipped. I don't know. This is so out of me, right? It wasn't. And it was so incredible to sit in that place and then have a boot camp pop up and be invited in by Brad and Denise, and thought, well, this is something I should do. They say it's important. I'll jump on. And so let's be honest. If you're brand new at this coaching thing, I don't know about you, but I had some doubts and some thoughts in my mind. Drop a 2 in that chat. If you are sitting here and you feel like, I've got kind of these wonderings, these what ifs in the back of my mind, I want you to know you are so not alone. We totally felt that same thing. And so I jumped on my first boot camp in January and realized, oh my gosh, I need a piece of paper. And I grabbed a piece of paper and started writing copious notes of, well, what if? And all of those stirrings in my mind and in my heart really began to, I wrestled with them. And I sat on boot camp and thought, what if? What if this is the breakthrough I feel like has been stirring in us for so long? What if? And I can tell you, it is. It's that moment of sitting here on this boot camp today where you feel those things in your heart and those words are coming into your mind. Guess what? Anything that's negative, I want you to take it and I want you to throw it away. It has no place in this next season. And sit here open-handed. Put your hands out in front of you and say, okay, this is it. What do you have to give me? And be ready for the simplicity, just like Dawn is traveling, and it's the same thing that we do. Those are the same things I learned almost 3 years ago in January, that I still have that notebook of those rocks that we get to put into play. And it's amazing to see the personal growth that happens, but also the development and the places and spaces that we're able to meet other people, because we personally have had the opportunity to dive in and say, okay, I'm ready for the simplicity. I'm ready to help so many people have true awakening in their life. And so then we sit here on the other side of things. forever grateful for the fact that we went all in. We went all in for those first 5 weeks. I was on all of the boot camps. I haven't missed one, and it hasn't always been perfect, guys. I've put my computer up on my counter, and I was just telling Brad, oh yeah, my whole family gets to hear coffee and consistency, because sometimes I'm making breakfast because we have 3 little kiddos, and I didn't think that I had the time. But you know what? It's a choice. It's a choice to decide if you are going to do it. Make the decision. You're not going to regret it. And you will be the one sitting here in just a few short weeks being like, you're so right. This is what it really can be.
It's awesome. Yeah, I think one of the things for us too is, as we talk about the what ifs and kind of the dreaming, some of you haven't allowed yourself to dream in a long time. And that's what's a bummer about the situations that we are in this life. And even what society does around us that squashes our dreams, and the systems that are always in place that kind of limit us to really see what we're capable of. And I think that's one of the coolest things that we're going to experience together over these next few weeks is what we're capable of. Like, you have a God-given gift to be you, and that's the only thing that you get to be is you, and that's awesome. And so I think this whole idea of consistency and coffee consistency is just that. It's learning the tools to be honestly a better you in what God has called you to be. And so that's really, really one of the coolest things I think for me personally is that consistency piece. As I learn a little bit more about who I am and the skill sets that I have and how to utilize those skill sets with the people that are around me and the places. And I'm not just talking about it from an Optavia standpoint, I'm talking about it from a life standpoint. I'm talking about it with my kids. I'm talking about it with Danae and I and how we function and work together. And so I think that you guys are going to walk away from this coffee and consistency with some incredible tools that are going to just sharpen who you are and all that you get to be. And so I'm excited for all of us.
Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm watching the chat just blow up, and I'm watching people say they love the energy. You know, what you said, Danae, about having your computer up on boxes precariously there. I just hope that lets everybody know that, you know, you do not have to be, and that it is just progress, right? And it is practice makes permanent. And you guys are just living examples of that. And so thank you so much. And thanks for speaking into people this morning, because hopefully there's people sitting on the other sides of their computer, maybe with some of those rumblings in their heart and their head, Danae, just like you had. And just, if you guys can allow yourselves today to just open your minds and your hearts and your hands, like Danae said, and just say, what if, and grab a piece of paper and write down. You may get 1 nugget from this morning, you may get 10, but write it down. And then just let it marinate over this season, and it will all build on each other. So thank you guys. All right, I'm ready for one more story. I want to bring on Michelle Luters, because, you know, it wasn't that long ago that you on the other side of the computer were saying, all right, what if I just got up in the morning and I got on these? What if I could change, you know, just the way my life is? What if I dove into this and just started loving on people? So Michelle, paint us a little bit of a picture of where you were, you know, not that long ago, and then where you are now, and kind of how the coffee and consistencies and just diving into the system has changed things.
Yes. Thanks, Dawn. Good morning. That's pretty much exactly what you're saying is the what if. Like, when I started coaching 6 years ago, and I learned about these coffee and consistencies starting at 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning, I thought you guys were crazy because I'm a teacher and I lived for my Saturdays to sleep in. And I was like, I am not getting out of bed for these. So I started setting my alarm and just listening, and sometimes falling back asleep. And then I started like thinking, okay, maybe I should at least turn on my light and start listening to them. And for quite a while, I did reach ED. And I sat at ED for a couple of years, and I started thinking, why is my business not growing? Like, what can I do? And Dawn and Brad would always be like, are you on the calls? Are you on the Saturday morning calls? And I was like, yeah, I'm on them. Like, am I listening to them? Not exactly. So I made a choice. Like Danae said, like, I made a choice to start getting out of bed and actually being on the calls and being live on the calls. It's totally different to be live on a call and listen to a recording. And so every Saturday morning, it's been probably a couple of years since then that I have been consistent with being on every Saturday morning call live. And it's made a huge difference for me. So 6 years ago when I started coaching, a couple of friends and family started asking me what I was doing and if I would coach them. And I did not have the time. I thought there is no way I could do this. I'm a full-time teacher. I already had another side job. how am I supposed to do this? But I decided to start helping just those couple of people because they wouldn't sign up unless I did. And I started my goals were to help myself be, accountable for myself, to just pay for my food. That's all I wanted to do. Was like, oh, I'll just help a couple people to pay for my food. So fast forward a couple of years, and it's healthy body, healthy mind, healthy finances, absolutely all the way. It's helped me be accountable and stay healthy in my own body. My mind has completely changed in where I am with my life, and my finances have completely changed. I've lived paycheck to paycheck my whole entire career as a teacher. And up until a couple of years ago, I've now completely paid off all of my bills. And I bought a new car and paid cash, which I had never in my life thought I could do something like that. And it's given me the financial freedom to travel when I want. I now make more as a health coach than I do as a teacher, which is crazy to me. And looking at quitting my teaching career, which I never in my life would have thought 6 years ago when I started just to help a couple people to pay for my monthly food would turn into something like this. And so some things that have changed for me, not only being on those calls, I have set rocks in my schedule. Saturday mornings are now a rock in my schedule. I am out of bed. I am on the call. I am present every Monday night. I am on those calls. Every Monday night are trainings. I have moved stuff around to be on those trainings. I don't schedule any sort of client calls, even though I get off work and I'm in my car and trying to get home. Like if between 5 and 6, I'm not doing calls on Monday. Same with Wednesdays. Wednesday nights a rock in my schedule between 5:30 and 6:30. And so setting those rocks in your schedule and being consistent with them is really, really important. I would say that, again, being a teacher, the fact that we get trainings for free, trainings are free. And I've never got that in 20 years of teaching. I have to pay to go to classes, and it's a big deal to go to classes. But to get out of bed is so simple. To be on a live call that is free to us, Monday nights that are free to us, and how we are poured into with the knowledge that, this Coffee and Consistency series that Brad and Dawn are going to give us are gold. There's so much information that we're going to help us grow as individuals, but also help us grow in our businesses, that all I can say is how important it is to be on these trainings and to show your teams that, to show, your coaches how important that is to be on those calls as well, is going to make a huge difference. I mean, 6 years later, my life has completely changed, and I owe a lot of it to Brad and Dawn, and to being consistent, and to being on these trainings. And I'm just very, very grateful for everything that they have provided with us. So my biggest advice to you guys is, it's good job being here, but this is a new Coffee and Consistency series. Make it a rock in your schedule every Saturday morning, and really be consistent when talking to your teams about showing them how important it is to be, on these calls as well. And just dream big, because I never would have thought 6 years ago that I would be where I am now. It blows me. I mean, I could start to cry when I think about how much it has changed my life in every aspect of my life. So dream big, because anything is possible.
Oh my gosh, Michelle, I love this so much. And Danae and DJ, so powerful, and everyone in the chat. All right, we slow rolled a little bit today because we wanted to help wake up some of you guys have never done this before, so you might not be fully awake. So hopefully you've got your coffee. We're going to jump in. And what I love is that we could have shared so many more stories, but I think all of us are more alike than different. And we all can resonate with that. We all have something dreaming inside of us, like DJ was mentioning. And what I want to encourage you today is, because breakthrough, magic, our personal growth, lives change happens through consistency. So the biggest thing I want to ask you today is, will you commit to yourself? And put that in the chat if you are. Like, I'm all in to be consistent. And in one word, put down what you're dreaming about. Like, what matters to you? Maybe something they said really resonated with you. Because right now we're going to get started. We're going to jump in here. We're going to kind of go over what's going to happen over the next few weeks. But everything happens through consistency. And one second here. Hold on. Dawn, you got the mute real quick? All right. Let's share the screen. Let's jump into it. All right, guys, grab your notepads. We are going to jump into what to cover. So a lot of you guys were probably like, well, what did they do? How can I do that? Can I do that? Okay, so what we're going to cover today is what we will be covering over the next 6 weeks. So what to expect and how it all works together. So, all right. Oops. There we go. All right. Is my screen working now? Okay. We're going to show you how to work well, put this all in 8 to 12 hours a week if you're growing, maybe a little bit more if you need more time. We're going to help you put together all of these things. So week 1's about setting up cornerstones. Week 2 is about connecting authentically, relationships, inspiring others, social media, endless conversations. Week 3 is going to be about how to do a world-class health assessments and follow-up, basically masterfully awakening people from even before they ever start program. Week 4 is all going to be about integrating with excellence, how to keep client support really simple. What do you say to clients? How do you support them? What does Michelle say to people? What does Dawn say on her check-ins? Like, I want to know what that looks like. We're going to peel back everything and show you exactly what we do. And what I love about it is everyone does the exact same thing. They just do it as themselves, because no one can be you, but the world needs to be you. And everyone can do this. And the best part about it, because I forgot to give the disclaimer, is it doesn't matter if you go fast or slow. You are part of this community, and consistency wins over time. There's no room for comparison. We are all a team. We are all here. I've never been a part of a community where there was never a shortage of winning. Usually people have to lose for people to win. And in this community, we're going to show you how you can win at your pace. And I'm just loving all the nodding here. I can see Abby, who just ran a marathon, nodding. Oh, yeah, so awesome. And then week 5, we're talking about bringing it all together so that by the time you're done here, we want you to be able to say, and all you new coaches and all the people that are tuning in for the first time, like, oh my gosh, it's working. It's working. It's such a surprise to me every single time. They're like, we're surprised like that it actually works. Like when they're doing like, I've been consistent and it's working. And it's like, did you think it wasn't going to work? Because we're going to show you exactly what to do that. So that's what the 5 weeks are going to look like. We're going to build on each other. So grab your notepads. Dawn, we're jumping in today. We kind of slow rolled it, but we're going to show them exactly how to set up for success. So what are we covering today?
Yes, we are, Brad. I'm so excited to dive in. So this week is all about your cornerstones. So we're going to talk about your tools. And you saw in the post that we put up that we detailed out your tools. The links are there. I'm going to go over them in just a minute. If you've got them, great. If you don't, that's going to be what your goal is this month. So we're going to be this week, getting your tools ready, your list, your map, your schedule, getting the rocks in. And then we're going to be talking about your purpose and your path. And Brad is going to guide you through literally getting your why down, what matters most to you. This is about working well and living well and knowing the path to get there. So basically the building blocks of this business, senior coach, executive director, what that looks like, how to get there, how much time it takes, what the income is at each of those, kind of competency levels. And then we're really going to be talking about living well and working well. What it looks like to put those rocks in your schedule, some examples of some real schedules, you guys. Would you like that? Would you like to know where the pockets of time can go in your life to make this really work for you? And then we're going to tie it all together and we're going to give you the actions and the rocks that you can focus on this week. Brad, anything you want to add to that?
I just want to point out the slides here. You notice that they're stacked on each other. They're Karens. They're just we took everything from the habits of health because like Dr. Ray says, in building health, it's one habit, one stone at a time. We're going to show you the steps that build on a growing business, a healthy business, a personal growing business, one step at a time that you can live well and work well. So as we go through here, we'll talk about this a little bit. Remember that it's not just, oh, you do this and you get a result. There is a momentum effect that one thing builds on each other. And when we talk, because I think one of the most desired things to learn was, what's the path? What should I be doing next? How do I make, how does the income work? We're going to be showing you that today. And it's also in there as well, like when you build the steps in the income and how everything jumps. So everything builds on each other. So that's basically what I have for today, Dawn. Let's talk about getting people set up. Because okay, what do I need to make coaching really simple? And it doesn't matter how long you've been doing this. We all come back to shoring up the exact same thing. So as we kick off this season, what do we need, Dawn, to really rock it and why? And is it really important? Is it really important, Dawn?
You know what? It's really important. It's the path to success. It's the cornerstone of everything, and everything worth doing well. So you guys, we're going to really keep this so simple, and we're going to lay out exactly what you need. So are you ready? The very bottom rock there, that first cornerstone, Karen, the blue one, that is your personal health and then what you're creating. And you guys, everything builds on that foundation, the foundation of that. What are you doing with your personal health? You do not have to be on 5-in-1. Okay. Although this season might be really cool to be in fat burn with all that extra energy first thing in the morning, but it's a progression. So it's, what are your goals? If you're at a healthy weight, what's your next goal in your overall health? And write that down. Keep it in front of you. We lead with our example. We lead in the world. If you are working on your health, your business is usually growing. If your health is slipping, oftentimes that can translate into maybe a business slipping back a little bit too. So just so you know, kind of do that pulse check. Where's your personal health? And we're going to invite everyone to dive in. So make a decision today. Write down your personal health goals today, before today is over, on your map. Have your own personal goals written down and let your support team know what that is. And then also, what are you creating? What are your goals for your life? What does that look like? Business. Thanks, Brad. I love it. We got each other's backs here. But what are you creating in your business? And overall, those are the foundation of where we start. And like Brad said, everything builds on itself. So the next thing to have, once you've got your personal health goals and what you're creating in your business down and in your life, and that can be things like time freedom, like Michelle was, wanting to pay off debt and things like that. Those are all important things. So then we go and we build on with the tools, right? So you have your path, and now what tools do you need? Your list is going to be important, and we're going to be kind of breaking that down, but have the people that are on your heart, all the people who've ever reached out to you, have a growing list. And that actually means a written down paper list that you carry with you and you add to. Your list and your map are important. And like Brad asked me, hey, Dawn, do you have these things? Yep, I'm traveling, guys. I've got them all. I've got my map. I've got my schedule. I've got my list, and I'm adding to them. So right here on this second red Karen is your map. And if you're not yet senior coach, you might be scratching your head like, what's a map? Don't worry about it. We will show you that when you're ready to have that. So this really for people who've helped their first 6 to 7 clients and more, but your map is going to be important. And if you haven't already seen the amazing video that Brad and Lisa did and posted yesterday, oh my gosh, like talk about a very cool video about how to fill out your map and the power of the map. But your map is really your path. I fill mine out every month. This is the first, guys, you probably, or the second, you probably have your map already filled out. But if you don't, that'll be the thing that you want to make sure you have done today. Pop it over in your support thread so that your support team knows what your goals are. I put my personal health goals at the bottom of my map. And at the top too. And I put my business goals at the top. All of these things matter. So have your map filled out, popped over into your support team thread so that they know what your goals are and they can come alongside you. And then the next thing is have your coaching guide. Everybody have one of these? It came in your coaching kit. Grab it out, have it handy over these next 5 weeks. We're going to dive in and show you how to use this to support your clients well, and to really integrate them. And then your schedule, we're going to actually have April chat a little bit later about scheduling and putting rocks in. I have a paper calendar, and then I also have an electronic calendar, but get your schedule set, you guys. The rocks that you put in your schedule matter, and how you set in those little pockets of time, you can get so much done even with a super busy schedule. And then health assessments. We asked you guys to print out 20 of those. The link is in the coach support pages, but if you don't have 20 on hand today, just set that as a thing to do before the day's over. Print out 20 fresh health assessments, keep them with you, because that is the cornerstone of helping a lot of people, and having a growing business is really the lifeblood is our clients, and how many people that we're sharing this gift with, and that we are walking alongside them, and that we're helping a lot of new people get started every month. Brad, anything you want to add to that?
Nope, that's everything you need for success. So we wanted you guys to be set up so this is easy, simple. So drop me a 1 in the chat if you already got all this stuff set up and you're ready to go for the season. And if you're just getting it still short up and you'll get it done today, put a 2 in. But we want to make sure that we don't leave anyone behind, because once these things are in, this is what makes coaching easy. This is all you need. And everything, I love how it builds on each other. Personal health. You can't, these are just the rocks that you need. And this is what's cool about it. Everyone that trains, ask them if they have these things in check, and they always have them in check. So I love it. Okay, cool. There's a few people that'll get short up today, but that's what you need just to make this season a success. All right, let's talk about what's next. Okay, I think the second most question is how do I understand growing my business? How does income work? Because you probably want to know why. Like, it's going to take time. It's going to take a little bit of time, and you actually get paid really well per hour for what we do, and it builds on each other. We want to show you how does income work, your path, and where you're at, and what's next. And why does it matter? And why does it build on each other? Everyone just thinks like more is more. So I want to break that for you guys right now. More is not more. And if you get these systems in check, actually, it could probably take you less time. And actually, as you do this, it's momentum building. So I want to show you some of those things. I want to take steps in this. But the number one thing to understand if you are a new coach are what are points? Because you'll hear us reference points pretty often. And a point is just the two things we do to change people's lives. It's either 1,200 in FQV, which is what your clients order from you personally, or it's for every one coach who's a senior coach on your team. Those are the two building blocks, because we either help people change their health or we help people pay it forward and get them started well. And if you want to know what's a good pace, if you're just like, okay, what's a good pace of a business? 5 and 1 each month. 5 clients, 1 coach is a phenomenal pace. Very doable, very easy. And if you want to go even faster, 7 to 8 and our new clients a month, and 1 to 2 coaches a month. I know a lot of you guys are probably like just getting started with coaching, like, oh my gosh, I'm doing that. You're saying that that's what's going to be really helpful for me, like growing over time. That's good. Or some of you guys are like, I'm at like 3. So if I just do a little bit more and get this stuff shored up, that's going to be more like productive for me. Absolutely. Because we are just filling a funnel and everything adds up. It's like momentum in sports. If you guys have ever played sport, you guys know how momentum builds and it really adds up. That's what we want to create, because everything adds up over time. So I want you to think about the stuff you start right now. When you're consistent, because I know all you guys committed to being consistent, what's going to happen through November? The seeds. Then you're going to get really good, and the seeds are going to plant, and the other people are going to talk to other people, and then people that are watching your people, and then people that are sitting back, like not even saying anything right now, that are even maybe possibly saying some like negative things. Because guys, the most negative comments are not even thought about. I just want you guys to know. And that's why we do this, is because there are people. Hurt people. So you're going to probably get a negative comment from someone along the way. Don't listen to them. That's the point, that you're making a change. It all starts to adds up, and then people start changing their life. So I want you to think about where you're going to be at March as these things stack up on each other, because consistency over time is the difference. So I want to show you guys just this path real quick. Step 1 in coaching, if you're a brand new coach or if you're helping a new coach, is help them reach senior coach, and more just really manager. It's about 7 to 8 clients. So we call it health coach fat burn. This is going to be your volume from that a month, and that's about $750 your first month. Does that make sense? And I want you guys to kind of pick out what's next for you, because the momentum builds in that. And as you're planting seeds, as you're doing the stuff we talk about, if you're doing that, the next step, well, the next real big step is executive director, but most people will land along the way right here. And there's ranks in between, but associate director would be like the really big step. I know a lot of new senior coaches hit associate director this month. Congratulations to you guys. It's a really big step. You probably didn't know it was such a big step. And why? The reason is you're gaining momentum. You're planting seeds. You're building trust. And you can't buy consistency. This is just jumping up just a few more clients, 10 to 11, maybe your first coach, and just bumping up a little bit more in volume. Do you notice how your income bumps up a little bit more? It's about $1,000 to $1,200 a month. That's huge for you guys. That's probably only 7 to 8 hours, like 7 to 10 hours a week you're working. You're changing lives, but more importantly, you're building momentum. So what's next for you if you hit associate director and being consistent? It's moving to executive director. Shout out to all the executive directors. Actually, drop me a 5 in the chat if you are executive director or above on this. Oh my gosh. I think there's like 300 of them in our organization. So it's really awesome. This is the next big step, and this is basically becoming a pro in coaching. Like if you say, hey, I'm an executive director, they're like, oh, dang, you know what you're doing. Nice job. Like, you know, you're changing lives. It's about 17 to 19 clients, and maybe 1 or 2, your first coach is going senior coach would be ideal. Some people make it the first time without having a coach. It's okay. We're planting seeds. But executive director is 5 points that I talked about. So you probably have at least 6,000 in FQV, and the income here is like 2,000 to 2,500 starting. And I want you guys to notice the jump from here to here for only helping probably a third more clients. So it's more than double income for a third more work, because Optavia knows that they pay us more as we help more people, because we will coach them better. We want to change more lives. Like, it adds up. So like the work and talking about consistency is to dive in and get these things down, because that's what you're building on. So I know a lot of you guys are here and you're probably wondering what the next step is. And I'll just, because again, we're just going to give you unplugged. The number one mistake people make at executive director is they don't focus on building the next 2 to 3 points. They just focus on hitting just 6,000. The next thing, this is why it's important, because of a path, but also of what it's building. We are building a ripple effect. So it's the thing that'll change more lives, but it's also what's going to build you stability and build your income. Step 4 is get up to 7 to 9 points. help more people, become abundant. Don't need just the bare minimum. Bump up to like 8,000 in frontline volume and work on helping your first 2 to 3 coaches with your support team get a really good start. This is where the income starts to build a lot more, but also your ripple effect. And if you're doing this well, it should take about as much time as it took you when you were right here. It's not more time because you're getting more efficient at it. And your income at that level is about $3,000 to $4,000. Pretty exciting right there. That's your next step if you're a new executive director. And then step 5 is building momentum. 25 to 30 clients, a full funnel, lots of people getting healthy. You don't even have to think of, you're just so focused on your clients. You don't need them for a rank. You're helping people abundantly. There's a lot of people changing their health. It's momentum. People are watching it. People know that you get people results. You have your first coaches going in here. Oops, I need to go back one. That's what you want to jump up to. We call this Big Thinkers Club. Everyone that's a big thinker and above trains on this training. So they're going to share with you exactly what to do. And the starting income right there is about $5,000 to $7,000 a month for this size business. And before I get all that, guys, this is an official document. I just grabbed what I know people make at this level. I did the calculation. And so we just want to share with you what's real on this. So don't nail me to the wall for that. This isn't compliant. I should have actually flashed the compliance thing. So, but this is what's possible and the path. Don, anything you want to say on this? Because we've helped a lot of people do this, and it's knowing that the momentum you want to build is helpful. And can anyone drop me a chat? Is this information helpful for you? That if you're doing these steps, it actually doesn't add time. It just helps you know where to focus. All right, Don, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, Brad, I love it. I'm watching the chat blow up. People say they love this chart. So it's absolutely so beautiful, crisp, clean. You can see it. One thing that I wanted to just hit home on that I dropped in the chat is what you said about not focusing on bare minimum. Brad, that was a game changer for me. Huge game changer. Cause I bounced around between ED and not ED for 2 years or something like that before I actually made the decision to dive in, partner with people, and move beyond that just kind of bare, what I decided to not do, and you helped me with this. I was not going to let Optavia set my goals for me.
Yes.
I was going to set my own goals. And that was freedom, you guys. It was so empowering. And then really things started to grow beyond that. So there's that. And then the other thing is with this chart, you guys, I just double dog dare you, take a screenshot of this and circle the next step that you want to be at. Okay. And circle that and send it to your support team so that they can dive in and walk with you and give you the next steps for you. But I just think that this is such a cool way to lay it out because you can see clearly where the next income step is, where the next lives change, step is, where the next, number of coaches you're helping. So whatever it is that speaks to you, take a screenshot, figure out where's that next step that you'd really like to be. And then don't be afraid to dream big. And what's that next one beyond that? And let your support team know. They can help you with it.
Yeah, I find it helpful because, again, we're building skill set, and consistency over time is what matters. And most people just won't be consistent long enough. This is why. I'm a person that my number one, my number one thing I said when I was a kid was why. I always wanted to know why. So hopefully this helps you understand why and the path and how it builds on each other. So that's your next step. Plus, it's an abundance business building. And that's the other reason is it's a ripple effect. That's the path of building a wave, and that's your gateway into the leadership ranks, like Integrated National, like Danae and DJ and Michelle Luters, global and presidential, and the incomes. And again, guys, don't nail me to the wall on this. I need to add a compliance statement to this, but I'm just sharing with you the incomes from the people on this real call. $8,000 a month to $80,000 a month. I'm not trying to promise you things that are it's just magic. You got to do the work. But if you set yourself up well, there are so many people wanting to change your lives. You heard the wins, you saw the chats, you guys are dreaming about stuff. Consistency over time builds this, but that's your path. And you can't get to those leadership ranks without planting the seeds and paying it forward. It's one Karen at a time. And then lastly, rolling consistency bonuses. Every 3 months for being over 2,000 and being certified, they pay you a rolling bonus based on the average of your frontline volume. So if it's between 2,000 and $9 or $399, you get a $250. If it's between 4,000 and $599, you get $500. If it's over 6,000, it's a $1,000 bonus. Who here has earned a $1,000 bonus? Go ahead and put it in the chat. And what I love about that, put me a 1 in the chat if you have earned that. The reason why I bring this up is because it's all momentum. If you guys watched the video that I did with Lisa Yeakley, that was an example of where she was really at when she was associate director. In that video, I want you to notice that she was consistent. She was doing the steps, and she did go executive director in the month in that example. and her income went from 1,000 to 3,100 in that month because she was doing the work, because she was doing the steps, because she was loving on people. And Lisa, you can drop me in the chat there. It didn't take you more time. It was just the next step. So again, we're spending a little bit more time on the setup, but we want you to know why it's worth it, the lives that will change, and more importantly, that you will change and grow in the process. So the last thing we want to set you up with here today, and hopefully that was helpful for you guys, and why it's important, because I promise you, you can underestimate or you can overestimate what you can do in the next next 1 or 2 months. But over the next 6 months, you have no idea what's possible if you commit to the heart of serving people and you get really good at growing and helping others and stay consistent. So we want to help you do that, which is, what do these people do? What rocks did Michelle put in her schedule when she was working all those hours as a teacher? Hey, Danae and DJ moved and they were busy pastors. What did they do in their schedule? Like, how did they do that? Like, okay, so Dawn, let's talk about that real quick and make sure that everyone leaves today with what rocks that they need to have in their schedules to kind of wrap up today.
Absolutely, Brad. I love this topic. So living well, working well, and putting rocks in your schedule. And you've heard every single person who's shared so far today talk about rocks. And, you know, Brad and I wanted to use Dr. A's mason jar example. So if you guys haven't seen the video where people if you put all the little things in and then you try to put your rocks in, guess what? Nothing fits in that mason jar. But if you take it all out, you put your big rocks in first, then you pour the pebbles in, then you pour the sand in, guess what? You can fit so much more into your life. And that's what we really want for you guys, is to live well and work well and to reach your dreams. So we all have 24 hours in the day. Let me know if anyone figures out the magic sauce on how to make more time. But you know what? You don't need to, because we can all do everything we need, no matter how busy we are, if we prioritize and put our rocks in. So that's what we're going to actually walk you through next. And Brad, I'm going to turn it over to you, because, you know, we talked about all the things, the tools we need, and the, you know, all the things we need to do on a daily basis to touch our businesses, to reach a lot of people. And those, you guys, they're super simple. And we're going to show you what it looks like, how to put it in your schedule. And when you center your life around what your rocks are, and these are rocks that are not only important in your Optavia and your coaching business, but also in your life. And we're going to show you where to put those and how they go into a schedule, and so that you can get all the things that you want to get done in a way that gives you the ability to live abundantly and to spend time with the people that you want most and to do the things that you want. So we're going to literally talk about that next, Brad. So let's show them like what those rocks look like.
Perfect. I'm actually going to kick it over to April real quick. So real quick, April, you're another good example of this. Oops, hold on. I got to mute someone real quick. That's another, sorry for the unmuting. Like, that's the benefit and the downside to making sure we're all on here, that we can share together and see each other. April, we're running low on time, so I need you to do it quickly on this one. But you at one point were like, I have no time. You were working 3 jobs. You're now a global director. You're helping a lot of people. You followed the path that we just showed there. Share some of the tips that you gave that helped you get these rocks in, because April actually runs like the highest frontline volume every single month. And she does this extremely well. So April, just share a tip real quick as we help them know what the rocks to put in the schedule here.
Okay, thanks, Fred. You know, I would say my number one thing, when I started this whole thing, it was all about just doing a diet. And then it was about getting my body healthy. And then it was about my mind. So once I really dove in and worked with my mentorship team, that made the shift for me. That made all the difference in the world. Because as you said, I was working 3 jobs. I was working 60 hours a week. I was involved in a lot of organizations, and I literally thought I had no time. And so what I did is, working with Lori Dufresne and Brad, I figured out how to do that. And it's very much like what Michelle said. I put rocks in my schedule. If you really work out the math, you know, it's 3 hours of training a week. It's the Monday night, it's the Wednesday night, and it's a Saturday morning. 3 hours. And then I tried to get more efficient. So you really should not be taking more than a half an hour to do a health assessment. You really shouldn't be taking more than 5-10 minutes to do your client support calls. And so if you're able to do it efficiently, then if you work out the hourly rate you're getting paid, you're probably getting paid close to $100 an hour, seriously, in a very short period of time.
So what I did that Lori helped me with tremendously, I got a paper calendar, and I put the rocks in my schedule in the paper calendar. You can work with your mentorship team to figure that out, but that is what made the shift for me. I had absolute client support days and hours. It's all about working efficiently to work it into the nooks and crannies of what you're doing. So for me, I was 60 at the time when I found this whole program. Working those 3 jobs, I was not making that much money. And, 20 years ago, I was in corporate America making a 6-figure income. Well, by embracing structure, and I resisted for a long time. I'm just saying, being totally honest, I resisted. But once I leaned into my mentorship and really got clear on number 1, what I wanted, just like the 5 and 1, why do you want to lose weight? I got crystal clear on why I wanted to coach, what that was all about. And the other thing about this, yes, the money is fantastic. I'm back to making a very healthy 6-figure income. Results not typical. But the other thing that's even more important to me is that I never thought I would be doing something as impactful as this is. And I'm 65 right now. Age discrimination is real. I was never going to making this kind of money ever again. But like everybody has said on here, dream big. Anything is possible. I didn't think it was, but I'm making a difference in people's lives like I never thought I could. And that's what this is all about. And if you have that, I'm telling you, my mind transformation is totally different. I am a different person because of this opportunity. Rocks in your schedule. Thanks, Brad.
So good, April. And I remember it's so fun watching the journey because we are just like growing here. Like, that's why I'm so excited for you. That's why action and consistency is my love language, because that's where breakthrough happens. And I just love watching it when someone gets this stuff in and goes all in, because I know it's going to happen for them. So anyways, let's wrap up here because we want to finish up on times. Here are the rocks to make sure you have in your schedule this week. And then we're going to break them down. And I want to show you why these all work. It's time for your personal health. Your business is built on your health. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be on 5 and 1, but I do recommend it. Like, I do recommend the fat burn. I do recommend living your health. Again, wherever your goals are at, but it's all about moving forward. Connection time, 30 minutes a day to plan purposeful connections. And we'll break that down and what that is in a second. Time for health assessments and coach explores, 2 to 3 hours a week. Because if you don't plan on it, it's always extra. But if you build in the time, it's actually, I just got to fill the time. Client support day and backup day. So key. Consistency is key in this stuff. But it only takes like 2 to 3 hours, 1 day a week. And then a backup day because we want you guys to live well. Follow-up time. Follow-up time. Usually we call it follow-up Friday. It's like an hour of purposeful follow-up, which we'll be breaking down. But put in more hours if you're in the beginning, 2 hours of follow-up. Then it's training time, 1 to 2 hours a week. Here's what I want to let you guys know. We'll put a schedule example up here a second. At the very least, never miss this in your schedule. I haven't missed a training in the 10 years that I've been doing coaching. And I attribute that to my success. Some of you guys are like, really? Did you make it that important? Yes, I did. I invested in it. Like, because what you invest in, like what you focus on, you will create. What you pour your energy to, you will get out. Your obsessions become your possessions. So anyways, I'm getting off on topic here because I'm so excited for what's going to be created for over this next little bit. And then time to inspect what you expect. Always starting your month and making a plan in the path, and then inspecting it around the middle of the month. All right, guys, so let's explain what that looks like. Because some of you guys are like, well, why is that so important? Why does it play together? Because it's like a flywheel. You guys know what I'm saying here? Some of you guys are probably doing part of this stuff, but it's doing it all together that creates massive movement. It's like horsepower. It's like if you have 1 horse, it's 1 horsepower. If you have 2 horses, it's 7 horsepower. But also, back to why it's good to do it efficiently, 2 well-trained horses is 12 horsepower. So what to make sure you've got set up in your schedule, because it only takes 8 to 12 hours a week as you're starting this. Yes, it might take more down the line because you're so successful at this, but if we get this down, this is how you can live well and work well and live a life of purpose. And here's what I want to add to it. Don't try to do bare minimum. This whole call, this group is for people that want to do more. I've always invested more time into something that I want, not less time. So I just want to let you know what it should look like, but feel free, put in 18 hours a week. It's worth it. The investment in yourself and other people is worth it. You will see the results as you're consistent. So here's the thing, time for your personal health. We've already covered it. Everything comes down to leading with your health. We've always kind of had a joke. If your waistline's growing, then your business is shrinking, and vice versa. If your waistline is shrinking and then your business is growing. Okay. Connection time as we wrap up here. I want to make sure we finish up at the top of the hour here. Don, you got the people muted here? So connection time, what does that look like? 30 minutes a day. Usually people do it in the morning, but it's time where you can do your daily text with your clients, planning your posts. Anyone here, like, drop me a 3 in the chat that's like, man, I don't really know what to post. That's when you plan it. Maybe do your first post, and we'll break more of that down next week. But like, what to put, it's just already planned out. Doing the 3, 3, and 3. We're going to talk about that, and probably doing more. We'll talk more about that next week, but the bare minimum, doing that each and every day like you brush your teeth. Setting up health assessments. Who's the next people you're loving on, and who can you be on purpose with that day in social media, but probably also the world. And by 3, 3, and 3, we'll get more into this next week, is 3 posts a day, 3 or more. Feel free to do more. We've kind of figured out that like 10 is probably the bare minimum, but we say 3. Messages, conversations, adding people to your orbit on social media. We're going to get more into that next week. And then adding 3 friends. You're probably meeting people out in the world, and if you can just add purpose to each day, you can bring more people into your orbit and come by them. And if you're living on purpose, all of this flywheel adds up. Then here's the other thing. So that's your time, your connection time. We're going to get that planted in our schedule for daily action. Then time for health assessments and Coach Explores. 20 to 30 minutes when you have time to connect. You want to know when you do, so that when people reach out, you're like, great, I have time to connect right here and there. It doesn't feel like you're frantically working around the clock or adding it to your schedule. Once it's already there, you just plug it in. The next one is client support day and backup day. Consistency is key. Well, we won't get into it right now because we want to wrap up on time. But basically, if you call your clients consistently on a certain day, they recognize it. They're in a routine. It's duplicatable. It's more time for you to chat. It doesn't add time. Anyone here like that wasn't doing a client support day, was calling their clients all week long, didn't it feel like you were like always working and you were so overwhelmed with like 5 clients, and then you put it in one day and you were able to support like an ED business, and it felt less overwhelming? All right, the other thing to it is pick a backup day, because life is going to happen. And we want you to be able to say, hey, if everything hits the fan on your client day, don't worry. Your clients are also trained that you have a backup day. Again, 2 to 3 hours a week of showing up support. So key. Then follow-up time. Follow-up time is the key. Most people take 5 to 12 touches before they say yes to anything that they do. So we want to show up and bring value. We're going to cover how to do that. It's not just, are you ready to get started? It's how you touch people and bring value to them. It's again what we're going to cover over the course of this. Then training time. You've got to pour into yourself, and you get better at different things over time. Did anyone ever suck at anything really bad? And then you're like, I'll never be good at this. And then you learn and you got help and you got coached and then you got really good at it. Anyone here? Anyone? Maybe coaching? I don't know. But invest in yourself. This is your community. You're going to hear things from people that are like, oh my gosh, I can't tell you. Like, that's why I always went to a training. I either got my cup filled or I got one little thing that day that changed my course, 1 to 2 degree tweaks. So invest in the training time. Is it seriously important? Yes, it is. Everyone that grows will tell you that this, like anyone that trains that's a big thinker is like, yep, all these things are in my schedule. Like, I dare you, ask any single one of them. And then the last one is time to inspect what you expect. Start of the month, make a plan for your math and your path with your map. Do people really do that? Yes. Any big thinker has a map. It's over in their support team's thread. And as you're growing, I want to encourage you to connect with your support team just to like make the plan and help learn these things. They want to work with you. So for all those people that are moving to executive director, that's your job, is to connect with your support team, send over your map, learn the little thing and stay connected. They want to stay connected with you. Then you also want to inspect it middle of the month. How am I doing on my goal? And maybe even connect there so you can make a path for the end of the month. How do you create a growing business? By building one block at a time in the flywheel. Don, we got to wrap up here, but anything you want to add, this is your job this week to add in these cornerstones into your schedule and start rocking it. If you're newer, your job is to spend more time planting seeds and bringing on people and doing health assessments. But basically, if you're at that associate director or executive director mark, make sure these are rocks in your schedule so you can live well. Anything else you want to add real quick, Don?
Yeah. No, except, I mean, Brad, this is amazing. Take a screenshot of this And if you're curious where you could hone in a little bit more with your time, pop it in your support thread so that your mentors can help you. That's what we're here for. So lean into your mentorship. Like you heard April say like 500 times, right? Success leaves clues. But no, Brad, this is amazing.
All right, I'm gonna wrap up real quick here. We kind of shared too many wins in the beginning. We kind of ate into our time. So, but last thing here is this one real quick here. We mentioned the tools. Why is that so important? Well, the health and the goals and the vision. I hope you guys have goals and visions. Please, if you didn't write down, like if you just did a map or if you haven't even done a map, please, I want you guys to think about where you could be at in March of this year if you are consistent. Because I guarantee, we show businesses, like you have no idea how fast they can grow up. We just didn't have time today and we didn't think it was important because I think you guys know what you can create over time. But we did the path. Where do you want to be in the next 6 months? Like, so health goals, visions, and honestly a mission, because you guys are going to change a lot of lives in this process. A list and a hot list. How do you make daily connections? How do you always have an abundant amount of people to help? How do you do things in your pockets, those little pockets? Well, you have a list of people that are helping, and then a hot list, which basically means like you should have a top list of people that are always gravitating towards the top at all time. We'll break this down a little bit more next week. Your map, work on it daily. If you watch the video with Lisa, she's like, you can see one of her old maps. It's all tattered and ratted. She literally carries it with her everywhere she goes because it's her brain, her math, and her path. Fresh health assessments so that you're not printing any off as you're getting people healthy this month. And then the coaching guide, because we're going to show you how to use that to simply support clients with the habits of health throughout these weeks. So here's the last piece right here. Some of you guys are probably like me. We're like, okay, cool. Thank you. But I need to know what it looks like. So I have a couple examples as we wrap up here. You guys okay if I go like 2 minutes over? It's really important to me that I end up on time, but I want to be like, is it okay? Can you guys drop me a 2 in the chat if it's okay if I keep going? See some nods. Our goal is just keep bringing you guys values. And I honestly, but we also want to make sure we're on time. That's a big commitment over this next little bit. We had a little bit more buy-in time on this. So here's what a schedule looks like. Take a screenshot. This is actually pretty close to my schedule. And I got another example if you guys are like, well, I can't think what mine looks like. So I need to see another option. But connection time in the morning, planning your day, purposeful, like get up early, 30 minutes early, plan your post, maybe do your first post, connections, those first few messages. Daily, basically, it doesn't take you any more time throughout the day if you start the day on purpose. I like to front load my week. That way my back end of my week is a little bit more meant for relationships, time with my family, date night, etc., which I'll show you that in a second because we want you guys to live well. We don't want you to add time to your life. If anything, we want this to be something that brings you more fruit in your life. Because if you anyways, we'll get to there. Health assessment time, so you know when you do them. Backup client support day. I do mine Tuesdays right around between 4 and 7, usually like 4 to 6. Leadership calls are on Monday, habits of health call on Wednesday. And then the biggest one is coffee and consistency on Saturday. Follow-up Friday is a great one, but you can do follow-up anywhere. And then also I like to do health assessments or like calls right after like coffee and consistency. I'm already here. I'm already present. I'm already doing action. I might just add them right in there, like right then and there. So here's one example, but here's the other piece we want to give you as we wrap up here. We want you to live well. You guys, this is like a really close to my schedule, a date night. Some of you guys might be nudging your spouse right now. I want you guys to invest in your marriages, in your relationships. I know some of you guys might be single, but a lot of you guys are married. I want you guys to, I want to encourage you guys to pour into the things that matter most to you. We put a date night in our schedule. Also, when you're on a date night, you can meet new people, by the way. So there's people that you meet. You guys, might want to encourage you to put active, focused time to pour into your kids. Mine's on Friday because they're off school that day. What are you raising them to be? What do you want to do? Where do you want to take them? What experiences you want to do? I don't, these are just an example. Saturday, what relationships do you need to pour into your friends, your family, church on Sunday? We're kind of short on time, but I want you guys to also put in your other rocks, because if you show me your schedule, I'll show you what you value. Our schedule is just a reflection of what matters most to us on paper. So I hope that you see that it doesn't take time. It doesn't take a lot of time to add this into your schedule. The rocks just need to be there. Here's another example. If you work full time, or if you're a busy mama, which is the most busiest job, you might need to do your health assessments during nap time. You might need to get up before the kids and do a little bit of connection and planning. You might need to do a trade-off. I don't know, you'll figure it out. But basically, it's all the same. So you guys can figure out the same things. But the last thing I want to encourage you guys as we wrap up today is that consistency builds over time. And if you put these things in, you guys can see how it all ties together, and you guys will see incredible, great things if you can commit to being consistent. The only difference is some people just won't be consistent. Everyone you see here, like I would tell you the biggest skill they have is they just didn't quit. That's literally success right there. And they will tell you that it was like the growth along the way, like personally, was worth it, plus all the lives they changed and where they are now. So here's where I want to wrap up today, is a few things here. Number one, here's what the focus, here's your rock to build in this week and the action step to take. All in with your health and your goals. Like, I'm gonna encourage you to even text your health coach and be like, this is what I'm doing. Declare. Don't just decide it, declare. Commit to being consistent. All in with your tools. Like, before this weekend's over, make sure you get these things set up for success. We don't want to start Monday. There'll be a roll call on Monday so that you guys, like, we don't start this week behind the schedule, or we don't start this week with not these things in place. The three are your rocks in your schedule. And I want to also encourage you not only to have those rocks, but what are your other rocks? You should have obsessions, the things that matter most in life, and they should be boiled down in your schedule. The problem with this world is there's too many things trying to get into our routine, our schedule, our daily life. I want you to block them all out and boil them down to the things that matter most. And I'm going to encourage you guys, and this is going to be a question after we're done with this call, is what's one distraction, one thing that's not giving you life, that's not committing you to being a better person, that's not helping you get to where you want to go, that you are going to quit this season? Because successful people quit all the right things. So let that soak in for a second. The last one is, if you're a senior coach and above, get the map done. If you're newer, watch that video. Lisa was incredible on it. She runs an incredibly high frontline volume. She's amazing. Send it to your support team. And if you're moving towards executive director, connect with your support team. And then right now, start the month strong. Start the month the way you ended the month, staying consistent, focusing on connections, looking for your next people that you're helping.
Try and
1 second.
do that phone on Verizon.
God, you got it? I got to undo myself now. Of course, this is how it goes. It's right to wrap it up. Okay. All right. Then the last thing is build your funnel now. Here's a little bit of a sneak peek, and congratulations on being consistent. You guys, there is a big incentive coming. You guys, you have no idea. Shh, don't tell anyone. Only you guys get to know this because you invested in yourself. I can't tell you what it is yet, but it starts on the 9th. So start filling your funnel. It's going to, you're going to get rewarded for just doing the basics of your business. I might throw, maybe for starting 5 clients, maybe for starting 10 clients, maybe you'll get paid a ton of money for that, for already doing your next step. So Christmas bonuses, I don't know. Okay, can't give away too much, but my goal is to always help you guys know exactly what you need to do to win and share it from all the people doing the same thing. So sorry for going over today, you guys. My apologies, but hopefully it was worth it. We will be on time next week. Have a great Saturday. Please check the support page, comment what your biggest takeaway was, and here is your action steps this week. Commit to being consistent, and we're gonna have a great season together. All right, guys, have a great day.
Love it. Thank you, Brad.